Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good evening. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, coming at you live tonight from the old Critical Blast Caverns. And tonight we have with us the hardest working man in CG that I have ever seen. If you have not participated in any of his campaigns, don't worry. You've got his work because he is in everybody else's campaigns. I am, of course, talking about that maestro of the palette, Mr. Preston Asevedo. Preston, welcome to the show, man.
What's up? The hardest working guy in CG.
Yeah, and you know,
I guess that could be true.
I don't even know if you float the CG hashtag or not, but I thought you did, so I just went with it.
No, I still fly that flag, but I'm more into indie stuff, as far as, because I know there's a lot of indie creators that aren't really part of CG, I guess. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I'm not a 1%er where I think like everybody has to be,
Oh, yeah, no purity test here. I mean, I know there's some that's like, I only buy CG. I'm like,
then you're missing out.
Yeah, I'll promote CG. I like CG, but I also like DC, and I also like, almost said.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just indie comics in general. Like, there's a bunch of indie comics out there like that. I checked out and I was like, this is amazing, and like, it didn't enter into my mind, like, are they CG or not? Should I buy this?
That never enters my mind. Should I buy this if they're CG? Now, exactly. if somebody's an a-hole on Twitter, then I'll know for sure that, oh yeah, I don't want them to. I want to support their book because I really, really don't like them.
Well, if that was the case, I wouldn't have any John Byrne books at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly.
and that's what I was saying. It really takes a lot. It almost has to become personal animosity at some point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any John Byrne books either.
Yeah.
Or Peter David books.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, there was, at least I think Peter David came out and said that he was wrong or something like that. Like, I think, was it Peter David? It was one of them. Like, one of the writers came out and said that he was just having a bad day, and he made some comments that he knows he shouldn't have made, And
Peter David, I've disagreed with politically online, but I've seen him at conventions do stand-up things for the fans. And if anybody's watched my streams before, they've heard the stories. The man knows who pays the bills, and he services accordingly.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that as long as you respect the fans, like me personally, like I love John Byrne's artwork. Like, his artwork it's the best thing. It's, to me, I don't care. It could be 10 years from now, and I think his artwork will still be relevant. But the guy's an asshole. Like, straight the fuck up.
So I've heard.
Like, he's a company man to the bone, and all this other bullshit. But but I mean, I still buy his work because it's good. And
I've heard he's doing his own version of X-Men, and I'm like, I don't know how he can do that, and I've never really gone in to dig into it. It's something he does online on his website.
Didn't he already do that with Next Men? Like,
well, yeah, but I mean, he's actually doing literally the X-Men.
Oh, no! I got that. I got that book. It's actually a really underground type of book. Like, for fun, he redrew the Phoenix Saga. Like, it's not colored and it's not inked, but it's all like heavy, like really, really, really tight pencils, right? And from what I understand, I think it's 2 volumes. Like it's a lot of work, and he did that shit for fun. So
That's
yeah, I mean,
masochism.
the guy's output is fucking insane too. Like it was, I mean, you're talking Kirby level, you know, like like you know, like what he produces. I mean, he produces like Kirby level shit. Like, but what really tripped me out with John Byrne is that he comes off as an admirer of Jack Kirby, right? I mean, he took on IPs that Jack Kirby created, and he actually, I don't want to say improved upon it, but actually did like fan service to him. You know what I'm saying? And like OMAC, like he took the whole OMAC series and did 3 graphic novel volumes of OMAC, and it was incredible. And it just kind of elaborated on Kirby's story. It never really changed it or anything like that. It added
he was
a lot
very
of
Kirby-esque when he did the Generations saga for DC.
Which is, but you know what? The weird thing about all of that is that when Kirby was trying to get his artwork back, he sided with the company. You know, like don't give Kirby his artwork back. Like what? You know? Like he's always done that though. Like he's always sided against creators when it came to the rights to their art or IPs or anything like that. Like he was one of the main guys to say, you know, I'm a corporate guy and corporations awesome. You know.
Well, now of course, you know, all you guys that get around all that by you draw it and then you scan it and then you send them the digitals and you keep the originals.
Exactly. Yeah. And I never like that's one thing. I don't like I get the whole thing about production and stuff like that, but like I used to I know the process that they used to use back then. And it was basically they took it, they put it on a stat cam, they shot it, and then they developed a like a film, like a a white like a copy of it with silver nitrate. Yeah. And I always wondered, like, why would they want to keep the artwork after that? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's absolutely no point in keeping the artwork after that. You know, you could have thrown it away. Well, they did. They threw a lot of it away, or they used it to insulate the walls or whatever. But like, I think
Ditko used to use Spider-Man sheets for cutting boards.
Yeah, but you start to think like it sounds like it was more for spite, right? I mean, kind of like, like this is mine. It's like a person mistreats a dog, but they don't want to give you the dog because that's their property. You know, they paid for that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh, I mean, it'd be different, if it was like, who was it? Mark Alessi. He was a fan of all. He would. I don't know, but if you were somebody like Mark Alessi, I'm not going to say it was Mark Alessi because I'm making an allegory here, not a direct story. But if you were a fan and you were like, yeah, I paid John Byrne to do a book, and he turned in all the artwork, and guess what? It's hanging on my frickin' walls now. I've got framed. That's different. This is my artwork. I'm not giving it back. I paid for it.
No, that's completely different. In fact, they're lucky I never worked for Marvel back then because I would have took them. I would have like books of art just around this place. Yeah, go destroy this, Preston. Sure, got it. Don't worry about it.
Somebody put a picture up of the old DC offices as they were getting ready to move out, and it was this huge mural of everybody had drawn their character on it and signed it underneath. And I was like, yeah, the day you all went to California, I'd be like, I'll see you next week, and I'd be in that Saturday with my jigsaw.
Exactly, like taking a whole wall out. That's what they did with graffiti artists, though. You know what I'm saying? Like if a graffiti artist did something on a wall or a door, they would take the whole thing and put it in a fucking gallery or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
And, but what do you think of the? So now that we're talking about creators, we're talking about corporations and stuff like that. How do you feel about heavy metal and what they're doing with Tarna?
Okay, so heavy. Well, all heavy metal had to do was say she's wearing a special armor for this costume, for this outfit, for this issue. Mm-hmm. That's all they had to do. Red Sonja's wearing complete body armor right now in Red Sonja, the Dark Powers, or Superpowers rather. Dark Powers is Vampirella's. All they had to do was say, we gave her a different costume for this. But they instead decided to attack the fans, and completely asinine. Kills the brand. It shows basically that they said they grew up. I said, no, you grew old.
Well, here's my take on it. Like, in Heavy Metal the movie, when they introduced Tarna, right? Like when she, you know, she strips down, she goes into the pool, she comes out and she puts her armor on.
Yeah.
Like it was handled extremely well. Like it was not pornography. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't even erotic. It was just, it was beautiful the way they animated it. Like it was gorgeous. And so when I heard there was a Tarna series coming out, and this is the first Tarna series, this isn't the one that everybody's talking about now. I told Brian Crisco about it. I was like, dude, they're coming out with a Tarna series. I was like, I got to get it to add it to my Vampirella collection.
Yeah.
Because I had like a collection of Vampirella, Dawn, you know, I have She #1, all that kind of, I'm a collector, you know, you can see the boxes behind me. But, so I was like, I got to get it. You know, it's only 4 issues. Let me check it out. And so I went to Heavy Metal's website. I ordered it. It came in. Now here's where they fucked with me, right? Because every cover has Tarna the way she is from the movie. You know, on her pterodactyl. You know,
Yeah,
like dressed exactly like she did from the movie. You know, all that shit. So I get issue 1, and she's you know, they put a little bit of nudity in there, you know, and then they put her in a jumpsuit for all 4 issues. And then at the end, they never killed her, but they said that she was reborn as a Filipino. Like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? You know? And I was like, and I told Brian, I was like, I don't know what I just read. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, what happened? You know? And the story was shit. Like, it was just terrible. And Brian tells me afterwards, he goes, I want to warn you against that. He said, because he said one of the writer who was the writer on that? I can't remember, but he said it was one of the ones that used to work for Marvel, you know, and they were responsible for a lot of the woke shit going on right now. And I was like, you know, that explained a lot. But one thing I noticed about modern heavy metal, and I'm talking about like from 2010 up, right? Yeah. They're trying to look exactly like the mainstream. And that's never been heavy metal. Heavy metal, like everybody that worked for did stories for heavy metal. It was people that they were the wrong size puzzle piece for the mainstream.
Yeah. Richard Corbin, Frank Frazetta,
Arthur Sweetum, you know, all of these guys, you know, and they had some beautiful work. And even some of the guys from 2000 AD, which I've always considered like the UK's version of fucking heavy metal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, those guys even had stories in heavy metal, you know, and it was like, that's what made heavy metal cutting edge, you know, and like now that heavy metal is trying to look like the mainstream with the books that they're putting out, even, I mean, they put out fucking Iron Maiden series, right? And it looks like shitty mainstream artwork. Like it's not cutting edge. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they tried to find somebody like the guy who did the Iron Maiden covers or something like that to kind of do Iron Maiden, or get Simon Bisley or Horley or something like that. Somebody in there to do Iron Maiden.
Now, back in the day, heavy metal was leading the way, and Marvel was trying to look like heavy metal. That's why they put out those, you know, Rampaging Hulk. Yeah, Epic Magazine, Rampaging Hulk, Howard the Duck magazine version, because those. And
they also had a horror magazine that they put out because they were trying to be like creepy. Like Marvel wanted to put their toe into everything back then. Yeah,
and all those magazine things were things that they couldn't do in the comics.
No, and it was good stuff, but for some reason, like I think Epic Magazine never made it past 25 issues or something like that. Like it was a very low run on Epic Magazine. And also their horror stuff. I don't think their horror magazine made it past like 20 issues. Like, I think somebody at Marvel must have worked at heavy metal at that time. Like, and they got a job at Marvel, and they were like, "Hey, let's turn Marvel into a little bit of heavy metal, you know, or something like that."
Yeah.
Well, and you know,
it worked for a while. I've got some Destroyer books that they did in the magazine size from the Epic line.
Yeah.
Because I collect everything Destroyer now, so it's a tax write-off for me. I'm calling it research. I can always look back at the older stories and say, hey,
Destroyer. What was that?
Remo Williams.
Oh.
Remo Williams. There was a movie in '85 with Fred Ward and Joel Grey as Remo and Master Chun.
Okay.
Marvel. Yeah, everyone knows Master Chun once that comes out. Yeah, but I'm writing that series right now. I've done the last 3 books that have been put out in the series. So, anything that's Destroyer that I don't own, I buy it and I say, yes, I have to have this for reference material.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing about doing comics and being an artist is that anything I buy as far as comic related is considered research.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Those Kirby books,
material.
I need some research.
Wait, how come we're getting so many of these Victoria's Secrets catalogs in the mail? It's research.
Yeah, absolutely. Research. My Penthouse subscription, back in the day.
They told me to put some Dave Cockrum costumes on these women, so I'm going into the Victoria's Secret catalog to get some ideas.
That was another artist that I think never got the credit he deserved was Dave Cockrum. You know what I'm saying?
What he did, the Legion of Superheroes, was just fantastic.
Yeah, and he even put out his own graphic novel under Marvel Graphic Novels. It was the Futurians.
Futurians, yeah.
And the costumes in there were fucking phenomenal. And Dave went through either it was Dave or somebody went through and painted the whole book like in watercolor. Yeah. And it was beautiful. Like that's a really beautiful book. But they said after John Byrne got on X-Men, like Dave never had a chance to get back. Like that was it. Because but
well, speaking of beautiful books, you are here to actually promote one tonight. and this is Nine Devils, which you've gone Roman numeral with. So if I ever try to look this up again, I'm going to be like, I
was going to use the letter, like the number 9 for it, but then I was like, no, that's not really good for the logo, So I was like, let's try Roman numerals. I thought it looked much more gothic.
It does. It looks very cool. I'm just saying, if I start looking for if we ever visit Nine Devils again, and I look up the old thumbnail, I'm like, where is 999? I didn't delete it, did I? So this is a closeout of what you've already got in stock, right?
Yeah. Whatever I have in stock is just going to be blown out. One thing I did add, I was doing all the sketch covers live for Nine Devils. I only had 12 sketch covers, left over from the original print run. And so what I did was I went ahead and sold them during the campaign for $100 each. And if all 12 sold, I told everybody I'll do like full color. And I also decided to do wraparound covers for each one of them. So there's and I would show them to you, but they're all packed up. They're ready to go. Like I'm mailing them out like Monday. I missed the mailman today, and but
and going out Monday, man.
Yeah. And I
think I go out Tuesday.
Yeah. Like Saturday's weird because the mail is only open for till 12 o'clock, and then they shut down. Yeah, now we got a holiday too. So. Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, so so Tuesday I'm gonna go mail out the sketch covers. So closing the campaign, I was like, I don't know if I could just close the campaign. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I got to do something really cool. So right there, the featured perk is something. It's my 9x9 perk. It's non-closing commissions for the closing of Nine Devils. And these aren't sketch covers. They're commissions the size of a comic book backboard, right?
Okay, gotcha.
So, and like I had to use color pencils on the Nine Devils sketch covers because that paper just wouldn't accept anything else. It's very, very shitty paper on the and it's not my fault. That's the printers. Any sketch cover you get, whether it be Marvel, DC, or whatever, it's usually really shitty paper they're using on there.
Yeah, they're starting. They have to draw with what, like a Sharpie almost.
Almost, yeah. A lot of people use Copics, but like a lot of the sketch covers won't even accept Copics. Like they blot instead of like spread, like they're supposed to. And so with this, it's going to be on regular Bristol board, but I'm not going to use color pencils. I'm going to go ahead and use watercolor and acrylics. So they're going to be painted commissions,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
So it's going to be Bristol board, but it's going to be in acrylics and watercolor. So yeah, these will be fully painted commissions, for $200, and you also get a copy of Non-Devils with it. And one of them already sold, so I got like 8 left. So
eight left. So it's $200 for a painting. Now, to put this in perspective, I've seen your paintings go for at least 5 times that.
Yeah. Now here's the catch, though. Like, you don't get to choose what goes on.
Oh, okay. Whatever you're in the mood to do that day. It'll
be something from Non-Devils, but it'll be whatever I do on there. Kind of like the piece of artwork that's on there right now. That was just something that is related to Non-Devils. It's one of the devils, and I just went ahead and drew it up, sketched it, and did whatever I want to do with it. And honestly, this is great practice for me because I'm about to start painting pages for Testament and for Chimera's project, and I'm also going to start painting the pages for the new Non-Devils project. So it's and I need to get quick.
How quickly can you paint a picture? I mean, how long does it take for that process?
It really depends on I can't tell you how long it'll take me to do a comic page because I haven't done it yet. But to do like a painted commission, I can do it within 3-4 hours, maybe a little bit, less, a little bit more, depending on the subject matter.
Okay.
Now the big painted commissions, the ones that are 11 by 17, those it takes a little longer. It takes about a day to knock those out.
Because I'm seeing you all over. And if you watch any of my old streams, there'll be people be like saying, "Yeah, we're going to have and we got a third cover coming up here. We can't tell you who it is." I'm like, "It's Preston Asevedo."
And most of the time, you're right.
Yes.
But you know what? I love doing this too. I don't bitch and complain while I'm doing it. Like, I really, really, even doing comic pages, like, I really like doing that. Like, once I get in my zone, it's like, I don't really care at that point. Like, that's why when I was offering the sketch covers, honestly, I have to be honest, I did bite off a little bit more than I can chew with the sketch covers, giving them away for $100, usually wraparound covers go for way more than that. Piece like a full color wraparound cover, you're looking at $300 or $400. But I was like, nah, dude, this is like a once in a lifetime thing for these guys. Let me just do it. And I already promised it out. And that's another thing too. I stick to my word. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna give you the best quality I can possibly do, even if I do dick myself over in the price. But yeah, dude, like, everybody loved them, everybody who tuned in and checked it out. A lot of people, even though I put in the description it's going to be full color, they were like, "Oh, it's in full color." And now I did make them wait a little while, to go ahead and get these covers done. But I told everybody in the beginning, I was like, this isn't going to be a quick thing. If you want something good, you're going to have to wait a couple of months, And so people were really patient when it came to the sketch covers, and all of them are done. Oh, I got to post some more though. I only posted one on Twitter. I got to start. I'm trying to post them on a regular basis, but I seem to be screwing that up at the moment.
Yeah. And you've done so many covers now that I almost thought it was like, is Preston trying to go to be the J. Scott Campbell of crowdfunded comics here? He only does covers from now on.
Or the Alex Ross cover guy.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
No, like one of my all-time favorite artists, well, two of them is Simon Bisley and Frank Frazetta, right? And like one thing I admire about Simon Bisley is that he's not afraid to do anything on anything, and he's quick too. Like I watched the guy work, and I'm like, fuck, this dude's quick, like he knocks out art like crazy fast, and he uses any materials around him, like literally what's in arm's reach. If it's watercolor there, he uses that. If it's oils, it really doesn't matter as long as the only thing that matters to Simon is the final product, and that's that's kind of where I'm going with everything. Like, I want the finished piece to be amazing without having to explain what I use to make it that way, you know?
Yeah.
And still make it traditional.
So have you done anything mixed medium like that, where you've just taken everything from like lipstick to oil painting to?
Honestly, like anything that isn't on canvas, I probably used a few different methods to get it done. Like acrylics and watercolor. I haven't used a lot of oils yet, like in the art, but when I paint, I used to use like oils to reinforce the color that was going to be on there. Like, I did a lady death painting, and the red cape wasn't red enough, so I used some oil paint to go over it, and it just popped it in there.
Yeah, that would.
And using a white, huh?
I go ahead. I was just talking about the lipstick joke. I know an artist, and he had asked me, because I worked at Maybelline for a part of my career, and he's like, "What goes into lipstick? Because I want to know if it would last on canvas." He wanted to do an entire thing out of different colors of lipstick.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Actually,
I don't know how it would have come out, but
I wonder if that would turn out like oil-based pastels or something like that.
It probably would. I mean,
yeah, like they never really dry. They kind of just stay there, kind of wet. Yeah,
what you do, you instead of drawing it on canvas, you stretch linen out, so it's like that would be because it doesn't come out of a shirt, right? So it just goes into the shirt. It's a linen kind of cloth, and it would absorb in permanent.
I remember they were experimenting a while back with this type of canvas, and it wasn't the cotton like it was almost like stockings. You know what I'm saying? But the problem was that it wouldn't hold up. Like after you painted on it, it would droop and stretch and shit like that.
Oh,
it just
but it would.
Yeah,
you'd have to mount it onto canvas just to hold it in place.
Well, no, it was mounted on canvas. That was the problem. Is that canvas is good because it stretches the fabric out.
Yeah.
And this, like, it would stretch it, it would hold for a little while, then it would give a little bit, and then it would give a little bit more. So it turned out to be garbage. But yeah, like I use oils sometimes too. Like I use white oil paint to kind of reinforce the white in the artwork. Because like watercolor and acrylic, like watercolor tends to bleed into acrylic white, but it can't bleed into oils. It's impossible. But yeah. So yeah, I use mixed medium sometimes.
Okay.
Not to the level of Bisley. I want to make that clear. Like that dude's on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. The oil and water don't mix axiom that comes in grade school science. And if you paint with watercolor and you paint with oils, it's going to create a very defined border between the two.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know about the oil and water don't mix theory, because I do put oils into my acrylics to kind of give it that to give it more longevity, when I'm painting, because I'm not a very fast painter sometimes. Like sometimes I just want to take my time. And acrylics, like straight acrylics will dry in a matter of minutes, seconds sometimes. They'll get a skin on top of them. But adding oil in there tends to go ahead and make it last longer. Yeah.
So what things do you like to paint? I mean, I've got an idea because I've looked at Nine Devils, and we've talked about Simon Bisley, and we've talked about heavy metal. So I'm guessing, yeah, you like the gothic bat out of hell stuff.
I do. I like doing monsters, and to be honest, I like doing chicks too. Like that wasn't my favorite thing back in the day because I was trying to make everything look like J. Scott Campbell stuff. Yeah, but as long as you do what you like it's easy to do. It's not hard. So, and I don't do like skinny women. I don't know if you noticed that. Like anything I do, the chicks always have meat on them. They're not very skinny, like thin J. Scott Campbell women. Like I do women kind of like Frazetta used to do his women, where they have imperfections. Like they don't look like supermodel quality.
Yeah, they weren't toned all the time either.
No, they're not. And I think that's what's sexy about women too, is that, like, do you really want somebody that's toned all the time?
You'll never see her. She's at the gym every day.
Yeah. Plus, that's all muscle, it's just, I don't know. It's just something unattractive about that. I don't know.
Needs more softness, and Frazetta got that.
Exactly. Yeah, Frazetta got sensuality without going ahead and making them perfect, you know. And those early Vampirella covers, even though Vampirella was thin, she wasn't fit, you know. You could see it, you know. Yeah, that's what I liked about Frazetta's stuff. Like Frazetta, he kept his women realistic without actually tracing photos or anything like that. You know?
Yeah. He used models, right? I mean, he just like painted some life.
Yeah. So, and if you notice, like a lot of the guys in Frazetta's art, like I think Frazetta used himself as a model to go ahead and like, because you notice like the back muscles are always stretched in a certain way, you know, like it's very, very similar. And then you see like photos of Frazetta, like they had a photo of Frazetta doing a back kick, you know, and like the muscle structure looked like his characters, you know, like his back muscles, the way he was twisting, stuff like that. And I was like, nah, you know, I think, and that's not abnormal, because Alex Ross admitted that he used to get his friends to come over and take pictures of him in different poses so that he can use it to paint off of. You know? Yeah. And yeah, I always wonder if Frazetta used his wife as a model too, like for a lot of his artwork. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Yeah.
Well, his daughters are still out there on Twitter. I mean, they could be contacted and asked.
Yeah, actually, I got to get back in touch with Sarah Frazetta, because I'm supposed to do something with Sarah as far as like a collaboration piece, where she does the sketching and I do the painted version. She's a pretty good artist, actually. She's working for who is she working for right now? Well, she's doing some alternate covers and stuff like that for, I think it's Dynamite. I want to say Dynamite. I'm almost positive. Like, yeah.
That sounds about right. I mean, that would be they're always doing those Dynamic Forces kind of covers, and now it's sort of like, you know, you want to do a cover, that's fine. If you can sell it, we'll put it out there.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like it doesn't even have to be good. They're just like, okay.
If you get older,
how many people follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, exactly. Which, you know, it's getting to the point where it'd be like, send us, you know, if you want to pay for the setup at the printer, and you would just want to buy it, just send us your cover. We'll send you a blank comic book, and it'll have your cover printed on it, and you can sell it where you want.
Well, that's how it works with you know, I did a cover for Valiant back in the day for BSI Comics, but BSI had to make a deal with Valiant to go ahead and buy 500 issues. Yeah. To go ahead and get their own special cover done. And then they were like, it turned out so good that they decided to contact Marvel and see if Marvel would let them do a Venom cover. But Marvel was a lot more, like, they're way more strict as far as that goes. Like, Marvel told them that they had to get 3,000 issues. And I don't know any shop in the universe that can sell 3,000 issues.
No.
You know? And
like Midway, and that would only be because they distribute it to other stores.
Exactly. And they said that the artist that did the cover had to be a Marvel artist. You know, like,
well,
they had to be employed by Marvel. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like. I was like, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I was like, that's crazy. You know?
Yeah, it's because, you know, if you want a Marvel artist, they're already doing Marvel covers.
Exactly. Plus, I mean, you know, the whole thing about that is like, you want a local guy to do your cover. That way they're known and they sell and blah, 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 you know, and plus it brings a different flavor to the whole scene.
Oh, know? Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about the independent scene that we've got going on here is that, you know, first of all, y'all help each other out. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you've got a question about something, or somebody has a question about, you know, how to do something with painting, it's like, you know, hey, Preston, I'm putting this thing on canvas and I'm thinking about using these elements here, but I've never done it before. What do you know? You'll sit down and probably talk about an hour with them about process and art and everything, and then they're going to go and do it. You didn't get that with the mainstream corporate publishers. You know, they couldn't, you know, just play with each other.
Well, the people who work for the mainstream too, like, I don't want to, like, not everybody, but I remember, like, I went to I was doing a show in Houston, Texas, and it was pretty big show. It was Comic Palooza, one of my favorite shows in Houston. And I was right across from this chick, and she had all these covers she did for, like, for Ninja Turtles. She had, like, like a Gwenum cover, I think, or something like that. And she had all this other stuff, you know, that was licensed characters and done through Marvel and all this kind of shit. And I was like, and then I started asking the questions like, how did you get there? You know, do you get any work? And she was really, really vague, you know, like she didn't want, it's almost like she didn't want any type of competition and she didn't want to answer any questions.
Yeah.
So it was like this big secret on how to get there. And I was like, and I always thought that was like really, really fucked up, you know, because I don't know. That just seems weird to me. Like to go ahead and hold back on information because you're scared, you know, that somebody's going to take your job.
And it's a totally different vibe and feel with, you know, not just CG, but with a lot of the crowdfunded stuff in general. Like,
well, I think it's because we own our IPs too. Like,
yeah,
it's no big deal because it's like, you know, we're the only ones that can do our IP, and if we don't, we're hiring somebody that because we think they can bring something like that we can't to the property. You know?
Yeah, and because you do own it, you can put it wherever it's welcome, so to speak. When I got Monster MD delivered recently,
that was an amazing book, too.
Oh, it was
really like that, yeah.
And it had a backup story, completely differently printed comic book, which was Monster MD versus Shinobi Sasquatch. Actually, I think the title was the other way around.
I love the artwork on Monster MD, but in my opinion, I didn't think it worked very well without color. Like I think part of that artwork was definitely, you know, I think part of the appeal to the artist's work was the color part too. You know?
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, wasn't it? It was colored though, wasn't it?
Not the backup story, the Monster MD versus Shinobi Sasquatch. That was in black and white.
I have to double check that. I don't remember now. But I'm sitting here thinking, you know, we've got this guy, you know, Dr. Black, who goes out and helps monsters, and I'm like, and you weren't there for this. And I was like, what happens when you've got a monster who needs help from a Monster MD who's being hunted down by a monster hunter like Doc Salem?
No, I think I can't remember if we talked about that or not. Like I think Vaughn's interested in doing something like that, like some type of crossover with Doc Salem. And I'm totally cool with it. I really need to clear my palate and just stop taking on jobs for a little while, just to go ahead and like work on my own stuff. And I
can't even guess how backed up you are.
I'm not really, because I'm pretty quick, you know. But as far as like, I don't think I'm gonna take on any more books at the moment to go ahead and just so that I can get to the new Non-Devils and Doc Salem and get those out of the way. Because like what happens is I'm mean to go ahead and write the new Doc Salem. But after I'm finished working on somebody's pinup or somebody's cover or something like that, I'm exhausted and I'm like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow or some shit like that. You know,
I hear that.
Tomorrow never comes, you know what I'm saying? So I need to go ahead. I really need to go ahead and just sit down and just write it. And I think I'm gonna do that within the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Close those commissions.
Yeah, exactly. Just commissions aren't that bad. It's the taking on whole stories. Like I mean, I don't mind doing Six Gun Gorilla because it's not really that long. It's only 24 pages, you know. But like bigger things, like I mean, I was actually about to start doing a 36-page book for the notoriety, you know, and luckily enough, it got canceled. Well, I got canceled, so it was.
Oh no.
So, but it was kind of a good thing because it freed me up, and I didn't realize it at the time. But taking on that property would have caused me not to get any of my own IPs out this year. You know, so that's a very good thing. You know, that I never got that gig.
Now, we've used the term a couple of different times here, being independent comics people, that it's your own IP, you know, and for those not in the know, that means intellectual property.
Yeah.
And you generally refer to it as an IP when you plan to do more with it than just a book. So that begs the question, are you looking at other mediums other media for your properties. I mean, you're looking like video games or
That'd be
animation
awesome.
treatments.
There was somebody that was working on a video game that featured Cyberfrog and all kinds of other characters, wasn't he? Like it was.
I've seen 3D animation of Cyberfrog, and I've seen scrolling video of Cyberfrog. Horizontal scrolling gameplay, but I haven't really heard anything solid on either one of them.
But from what I understand, like he isn't working on it anymore because it never got the funds he was looking at. Like people didn't back that; they were more interested in the comics, And what I've been talking to people about is like maybe doing a not just the Doc Salem, but maybe an indie comics board game. You know what I'm saying? With little
board
figurines
games
and stuff like that. I
know the guy who could 3D print the figurines.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, like that. To be honest, there's whole cons structured around board games now. Yeah. Well, there's always been that, where it's and they're packed. They're packed at every show. It's like, and these guys stay up all night, like just like I don't know if they're popping Adderall or what they're doing, but they're fucking there and they're just playing all night. Yeah.
Cons aside, I mean, if you ever get a free moment, go out to Kickstarter and just say, "Show me the board games that are being funded." And the dollars that are being thrown at these things make this comics gig look like, a yard sale.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, and one of the guys in our circle that's actually involved in that is fucking Adam Lawson. And I think Adam, like, we're working on something that kind of harkens back to the 5 Deadly Venoms and stuff like that, and more of a cyberpunk feel. And like we had some serious discussions about doing something like that with for a board game, But I think that like it's been brought up in conversation a couple of times about people wanting to do like an indie comics type of board game where you would have booster packs, like the Doc Salem booster pack or the 6-Skin Gorilla booster pack or something
I brought that up a year or so ago where, you just had somebody do a basic CCG kind of thing. And then, if you could have a Doc Salem booster pack that goes to the CCG if you back at a certain tier level, and everybody do their own cards, license it out with the card game holders, and they could make money off the licensing at that point.
No, I think that's a great idea. And whoever's up for a booster pack can do all the artwork for it too. Like if they're an artist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, or write the backstory for it if they're a writer, like for the Monster MD, it could be Vaughn. Vaughn can write the backstory and how it integrates into the game and different things like that. And honestly, I think that's pretty brilliant. I think it brings it not only like brings more notoriety to your property, but it also it pulls people that really aren't interested in comics too much into the comic field.
Well, exactly. I mean, you'll get people if you've got a good game, you got a good CCG engine going with the property, and now there's a booster deck over here for some comic book that'll have extra cards in it that do crazy things that will surprise your opponent. Look at what happened with Batman Fortnite. Nobody bought that because that was a brilliant Batman story.
Yeah.
They bought that because there was a code in there for skins to play in Fortnite.
For Fortnite, exactly. And that's another thing too. Like, I would say when it's your turn to put a booster pack together, you put up, like maybe you do a short like story, like a comic to go ahead and add to the booster pack. Like maybe a 12-page, 20-page story. It doesn't have to be colored or anything like that. Just something in black and white, and just to kind of help. Kind of like the old Masters of the Universe figures, where every time they introduced a new character, it came with this small comic.
I remember those. The Superpowers figures did that too.
Yeah, and that comic served 2 purposes. One, it served really one purpose, and that purpose was to integrate that character into the Masters of the Universe, so that you knew how to play with it in a way that fit the character with that universe, And I think that would be a pretty good part to add into the booster pack. Like if I did a Doc Salem booster pack, it would come with the characters that like Doc Salem, Igor, and maybe even, if possible, the Mephisto, like a car that goes with it. And then, it would also come with a small comic that would integrate Doc Salem into the whole gameplay universe, and that, and whatever cards that you need to go ahead and, I don't know.
Sure.
Honestly,
and you have to have, parameters for building the cards up so that you didn't say, oh yeah, I've got 18,000 hit points or whatever for this character. It just totally blows the curve.
I always thought that was cool about clicks too. Am I saying that right? Like the
hero clicks?
Yeah, the hero clicks.
Yeah.
I always thought that was cool because the piece, like the figure, had all the stat points on it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like you could. I thought that was great. I was like, dude, this is awesome.
And you could throw them into any game. It's like I've got a Superman, a Spider-Man, and a troll from
Oh,
Smurf.
Absolutely. It was brilliant. I mean, mine was always Ghost Rider. I got him around here somewhere.
I have 2 Batgirls somewhere.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Yeah, here he is.
Yeah. And they make, even if you're not playing the game, it's like, I like the character. I want a cool little version of it to put on my shelf.
Well, my bud, he knew I was a big Ghost Rider fan. So he's like, I got you something. I was like, cool. He was like, God damn, I never knew how powerful this fucking character was.
Well, he's a demon from hell.
Exactly. I was like, dude, Ghost Rider's shit. Yeah. And, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like something like that would be perfect for like a, I don't even know if they're still doing that, to be quite honest. Are they still doing clicks or?
I haven't seen them, but I can't imagine that they've stopped.
So I remember those things were so fucking popular at one time. Like they were as popular as Pops, like.
Well, yeah, the Funko Pops are the big thing now. Oh, dude, there's the next big thing. Funko Pop sized hero clicks.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah, that'd be expensive as fuck, but that'd be sweet.
It'd be because I haven't seen anybody take their Funko Pop out of the box ever. Yeah. They're always just storing these boxes on their shelf. I'm like, I've got a Batgirl, I've got a Godzilla, and I've got a Batman Beyond that came with a special version of the DVD, the Blu-ray set. They're all out of the box, just sitting on shelves.
I do that too. If I can, I take them out of the box and just put them on a shelf. But sometimes, if I do not have a lot of space. Like this room is my whole world
I hear you.
And so what I have to do is sometimes I just leave them in the packaging and just fucking tack them onto the wall.
That works. Well, and also my local comic shop here in Belleville, Illinois, he's got these Funko Pops under the shelf that have been signed on the cellophane in front of the figure by like the voice actor that did the character in the cartoon.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I remember somebody brought the pop to the Crow Pop to James O'Barr, and James said he hated the way they printed the makeup on that pop so much. He popped it out of the pack and started doodling like the Crow makeup on it. And then he signed the box after it was all done. And put it back in there.
Yeah. You're gonna customize my Crow figure? Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Take it out and do what you want, man.
Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Funko Pops, but I honestly, who wouldn't mind having a character after, like a Funko Pop Doc Salem? Honestly, what I really like is the what is it called? The Savage Earth or something like that. Savage World fucking figures where it's all Masters of the Universe body types, but they put like Jason and Freddy, and I got the Pinhead version of the Savage World figure, and like that would be cool. I actually have a guy that I commissioned to go ahead and do a Doc Salem Savage World figure, and because with the next issue I'm introducing Dark Salem, like I want to do a version of that too, like a Dark Salem version. And that's another thing too, like with the new campaign, when I do launch it, I'm going to have a bust of Doc Salem made, and I'm also going to have a repaint of the Dark Salem. So it's going to be 2 busts that I'm going to be offering as perks for the new campaign. And I think that'll be pretty bad. I've been posting like updates on Twitter of it. Yeah, that's them right there.
Right there.
Yeah, and they're awesome. Like I got that Pinhead figure. That Pinhead figure is fucking amazing.
They do look like Masters of the Universe bodies.
That's
too.
what they are. They're Masters of the Universe body
and
types.
Funko.
Yeah, and also I got the Freddy. Really, I need to get the Michael Myers. That Michael Myers looks badass. But yeah, they're badass, dude. And you know what? They have Thundercats, the Savage World version of Thundercats, and all kinds of shit, dude. It's badass.
That's pretty cool. I have to look. I'll start looking for those. I haven't seen them. Dang it, we've gone through like 45 minutes and we've like talked about nothing about Nine Devils except that you've got copies of them still. And I haven't even got to the Nine Devils on your campaign because I'm still stuck here at Rockabilly Road Trip. We haven't even mentioned the title yet.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like with this campaign, also ends your second chance to get any type of Rockabilly Road Trip stuff. So I still have some books, some Rockabilly Road Trip comics, and also the trade paperbacks. You know, I don't have a ton of them, but I got a few. You know, of those.
So this is kind of like a house cleaning kind of thing here. It's like I've still got first issues. Do you want to get your last chance at them?
Yeah, well, with the Rockabilly Road Trip, I think I ended that campaign prematurely. That's why I was reoffering it through Non-Devils. And I still have a bunch of those, but I mean, if they don't sell, I'm going to do another road trip sometime, maybe next year, and I'll just offer it then.
Yeah, the conventions are opening up again. I went to Walmart for the first time today without a mask on in over a year and a half. I'm like, oh my god, I felt naked for some reason.
I know, right? Like, well, they were like the mask mandate in Louisiana was abolished like a month ago or something like that, and yeah, the trade paperback. I still have the trade paperbacks left too. I don't have a ton of trade paperbacks, but I still have a few. But yeah, I mean, I hated wearing a mask to begin with, but
me too.
Now that I didn't have to wear the mask, I was like, oh, this is great. Like nobody can tell me to wear a mask now.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I felt like I was exposed or anything. It was more like I was like, is anybody going to yell at me?
Yeah, I know, right?
Honestly, it's the only reason I was wearing the mask when I went somewhere anyway was so that somebody just didn't yell in my face because I'm like, I don't need this shit.
Well, whenever I wore the mask, I kind of started to have like a mini panic attack too, because I always felt like I couldn't breathe with the fucking mask on, and I wasn't getting enough oxygen. And
not only could I not breathe, but I couldn't see because
that's another thing too. It fogged your glasses up.
Yeah, I needed defrosters up. That too in the chat is saying any of the trade paperbacks for Rockabilly, and I think you just said yes.
Yeah, the trades. I still have I have a few trades left, and those, of course, those will be signed. I've been doing little doodles inside of them too. So if you get one, I'll do a Nicky the Pipe or patches or something like that on the inside of it. That
was my question I was going to ask right up front. I never got around to it because I know your Twitter handle is @Nicky the Pipe, and I'm like, who's Nicky the Pipe? Fill me in on that one. I missed
when
something.
I first created my Twitter, which was way back, like fucking, and I never really took Twitter that seriously in the beginning, and I just named it Nicky the Pipe. My Twitter handle, because that's, I was working on Road Trip back then. And I was like, just put Nicky the Pipe. And when I started taking Twitter a little bit more serious, I never changed it to anything else. I was just like, fuck it. just leave it Nicky the Pipe.
Now it's like, how do I find this Preston Asevedo guy on Twitter? I want to commission something from him.
As a side effect, everybody knew me as Nicky the Pipe after that. So, and it's not because I was like, I don't want anybody knowing who I am. It's because I was too lazy to change it to anything else. And then after a while, I was like, I don't think I can change it now. So if you notice what it says is it says Preston Asevedo, aka Doc Salem, aka Nicky the Pipe. So. Yeah,
you can petition. There's a thing you can do on Twitter to change your @ I've done it on my personal account before because it's kind of short-sighted of people who do it with the name of their campaign, like Charlie's London, did it because obviously the campaign that she was doing was the Charlie's London book. Now that book is out and it's going to start fulfilling here in the next few months, and it's like, okay, but when you're done with the 3 arc of Charlie's London, are you done with Twitter? Are you?
Well, here's the good thing about that. Like if you put in Preston Asevedo into the search, it'll come up Preston Asevedo @Nicky the Pipe. So
it still does that.
Yeah, and it also do Preston Asevedo, aka Doc Salem, aka that way. If you're following me on YouTube, my YouTube handle is Doc Salem, so it'll come up. It also comes up as if you can put Doc Salem in on the Twitter search, and it'll still give you Preston Asevedo or at Nikki the Pipe. So I tried to like pull it all together. People aren't like. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not lazy when it comes to like pushing, like pumping workout, but I'm extremely lazy when it comes to the small things. You know what I'm saying? Like the really tiny things that I should be paying attention to that, like changing my Twitter to the correct.
It's not that important. It's trivial.
And doing hashtags and stuff like that. Like they're super, super important, but they seem to fall to the wayside a little bit. Yeah.
Well, Bap, you can get the road trip book and the trade for $30 here. You get a physical number 1, and you get the 155-page trade paperback.
I'm still really proud of that. The way Non-Devils came out. Like I don't hate that. I don't want to give anybody a bad impression like that. I'm not proud of that book because I really am. But it's been 10 years since I put that book out, and I've gotten really, really like my style has changed immensely since that book came out. So I'm like, so it's not, like when I do, if I really want to continue it, but 2 things. One, I knew that I personally couldn't write that book because the world was too big, I needed somebody that had way more talent than I had as far as being a writer. And that's where Brian Kriskow came in. So with the new Non-Devils series, there's going to be like, we're carrying over a ton of characters that appeared in the original Non-Devils series. But the look of the book is going to be completely different. Like it's going to look like something Matt Wagner or Simon Bisley pumped out back in the day. And And
I notice there's only one tier that actually has 9 Devils available on it.
Is there? I thought there was more. There's only one. I probably eliminated it.
Let's see here. It's well, you've got the digital. I don't count the digital. Okay, there is the $200 one, which is the physical sketch copy, and that you get.
I don't have a physical copy of Non-Devils in there.
Like you do. But
okay.
But other than
that was it. That was it. Oh no, that's the commission. Okay,
that's the commission. Then there's the digital. Yeah. And then there's Rockabilly. Then there's Rockabilly. Yeah. Then it's down here, the metal collector card in the book. This is the only one that you can get 9 Devils on. Oh, okay. Well,
no, that's that. Yeah, you. But that's the book with the collector's card. So
right. This is, if you're not going to get the sketch, the $200 sketch, then this is the 9 Devils tier. Everything else around it is digital or Rockabilly.
I mean, I could reduce the price for the
why?
For the book, but I mean, you get so many extras with the you get the card, you get the digital copies and all that other shit. Yeah.
Now, I noticed there's no physical copies of number 2. Were you sold out of those, or?
No, number 2 was never printed.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I got half of it. I got almost half of it done, and I fell off of it, because I was like something didn't feel right, and I think it was because I never, I needed somebody to kind of help me build the world a little bit better. And at the time I never had anybody around to do that. And then now I got Brian, so Brian's going to do that. Yeah. And maybe in the new Non-Devils, we'll go ahead and do a printed issue of the, maybe an ash can or something like that with Non-Devils 2, the original Non-Devils 2 in there. But my main thing is creating, that's pages from Non-Devils 2. That's Terror of the Skies. Towards the top, go up a little bit. Right there. That's with the cathedral airship and all that kind of stuff.
That is awesome.
And the Grand Inquisitors and all that stuff. But you can see how polished that looks. Like, I don't do polished work like that anymore. Like, that's when I was doing all digital too. Like, there was no original work left over except for the covers, and the concept art. And that's another thing I changed too, because I went back to doing everything traditional, and I'm much faster and I have more of an interest in doing the book now that I'm doing everything traditional. But yeah, that's what that's what I like, is doing character creation, vehicles, stuff like that, and I had a ball doing that.
And you got some concept art too that you're selling here, which is sketches. I might as well say that.
Well, yeah, it's 11 by 17 fully rendered thing. Those were actually going to be covers to the next for the upcoming issues, but they never got produced. Like as far as the issue 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, that sketch of Bale looking into the crystal ball, that is badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, all of them were supposed to be one of the devils, and then with death, because it's always been a battle between the devils and death, it was that was the whole concept. And I think I came up with the whole idea of non-devils when I was on pain meds and I was recovering from a surgery. And I was playing Darksiders 2, the one with death in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it'd be cool. And then it just started playing out in my head. And I was like, all right, got to do this. And that was a huge inspiration for this whole thing. Oh. Yeah. No, I am. I'm not doing anything. Well, I don't want to crawl into the digital field. And I've learned that, not that there's anything wrong with digital. For production, it's fantastic, but it's completely destroyed the original art market. Like, you can't really buy anything. I mean, the cool thing about comics was, one, you get to collect it, but also you can buy the cover, or you can buy a page from your favorite comic book, and hang it up and do all kinds of crazy shit like that. But now
you can get a print of it, but it's not the same.
But that's not the same. That's not the original piece that was printed in that book.
You know what I'm saying? What else is not the same? An NFT attached to a digital picture.
I don't even know what that is. The most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard before in my life. Like, you want me to put a digital signature on a digital piece of artwork that you can display on your screen? You know what we used to call that? Screensavers. We used to call those screensavers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it means that you're the only one who has that officially, the digital one, and you can actually sell it.
No. Everybody else has the same exact thing, but you got the official one.
Yeah, exactly. and you burned down half a rainforest to decode the code that keyed the thing together. Like, that is not going to last.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard before in my life. And I can't believe people. You see, that's my point, though. Right there, that's my point. People are so desperate for original art that they're willing to play this fantasy game about NFTs.
Yeah, it's the artwork equivalent of Bitcoin. And I'll tell you, the whole Bitcoin thing, I killed the Bitcoin market. It's my fault. Because I had the anti-Midas touch when it comes to investing. 1997, I had some spare money from a bonus I didn't expect. I invested it to get rich. I put it in Marvel, I put it in LA Gear, and I put it in Levitt's Furniture. You know what happened to Marvel in 1997? They filed bankruptcy, and they wiped out all their stock with it, and they did not reissue it to the previous shareholders.
Let me ask you a question. Did you invest in Marvel because of the boom? Because you've seen so many comics were being bought up like crazy?
I invested in Marvel minimally because at that time, under that share of stock, the annual report for Marvel Comics was issued as a comic book. So it was
1997. That was in the middle of the bubble, though, right?
Yeah, that was in the middle of the bubble.
That was right before that bubble started to pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like, all the stuff that's normally in an annual report, Marvel presented that in frames and panels with characters talking. I was like, that is a very limited edition comic book. I want that, and I will therefore buy your stock so that you have to give me an annual report.
Holy shit, dude, that's crazy.
But I didn't. They filed bankruptcy before I ever got my first annual report.
God damn! Did they give you any free comics or anything like that?
No, nothing. I had a stock share that became worthless, and I didn't even get a deal getting into the next ones. So it's like, well, I learned my lesson there. So, what I do 2 months ago, I put a couple of $100 in Bitcoin. And
from what I heard with Bitcoin and Dogecoin, Dogecoin, right? Not Dog.
I don't know.
Dogecoin.
I didn't get the Dogecoin.
Yeah, they from what I heard, like it's all it's pretty much a high-end scam, right? You got these rich guys that buy a bunch of it, and it seems like the stock is going up. So a bunch of little people buy into it. Then the rich guys do a massive sell-off, and it drives the coin straight into the ground. Yeah. And I think that's what happened with Dogecoin. Like Dogecoin was like, everybody was like, I just made $1 million. And then the next day they're like, why am I down 2 million?
Yes, exactly. It's like, and everyone was like, I'm saying, okay, I've lost 50% of what I put in there. And everyone's like, buy the dip. I'm like,
yeah, buy more.
Yeah, the dip was like $200 ago.
That's crazy. But yeah, all these sketches and concepts, like these were all meant to be covers for non-devils, and the book never continued, so it just didn't happen.
I can't believe the Lilith one hasn't sold yet.
No, it hasn't. But that's the thing though. Like I don't know why artists don't do original art. And to be honest, Alex Ross, they had an interview with Alex Ross, and he said the reason why he doesn't switch to digital is because he doesn't want to give his customers options, like the editors and everybody else. And I can see where he's coming from, because I don't think you should, like, they should have that many options when it comes to art. You know what I'm saying? I think to me, and this is me dealing when I used to do production art, like I've learned a long time ago that if you give people more options, you just extend the project. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was like say if you were doing a logo, do you give that person your catalog of fonts so that they can pick a font? Or do you pick the font, 3 different fonts, and give them 3 different options? Exactly. You see what I'm saying? The more options you get, the more paralyzed they are. There's this paralysis by analysis. It's like they crash. They're like.
It's like, when I was a kid, we had 3 television stations. What are you going to watch tonight? That. Now we've got Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Max. I'm like, what am I going to watch tonight? I don't know. I'm going to have to take an hour to thumb through stuff first to find out what I haven't seen yet.
Well, it's kind of, sorry, I got a cramp. It's kind of like, okay, now if somebody would give you a catalog of TV programs that were coming on, by the time you figured out what you want to watch, it would be over with.
Yeah, we used to call that
It'd be time for bed. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, and yeah, that's why I'm like, that's why I'm going to stick to original, like doing things traditionally. I mean, yeah, you have options in the beginning, but like I recently did a job, and like I always give people a tight sketch to look at. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, I can sell the sketch afterwards, so I'm not losing anything by creating a tight sketch. Yeah. And then it gives them a perfect view of what the anatomy is going to look like, the layout and all that kind of stuff. And then once they approve that, I go to the painted version. Now, the painted version, you have to trust me. That's it. You just have to trust me. And they tried to make changes after I started painting it, like to the anatomy, and I was like, no, dude. I was like, no, that's done. We're so far past that. That's not going to happen. And that's project management skills you're picking up there now. Exactly. Well, yeah, and I was like, and that's just the way it is. Like, this isn't digital. This is original art. This is the way it works, and like. I think things move smoothly that way. Like, and you don't have somebody who knows nothing about art telling you what you should do. Like, because if you hire an artist to do something, you're hiring them because you like their past work. You're not hiring them because that's all you have available, because that's bullshit. You got all of the internet to pick from, So yeah. My short-term memory isn't what it used to be. I refreshed the screen and I'm like, I don't remember what it was before I refreshed. I thought we went from 5017 to 5057. But I think it did. I think it went up by 1 book. I think somebody probably got a rockabilly issue. That was probably BAP, since he was asking about it. So.
So we'll go ahead and credit him with that. Thank you, Beth.
I'm doing a
Appreciate
mail
it.
out Monday, so I'll go ahead and mail it out to you like right away. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's a rockabilly trade plus the book. Yeah, I'll send that out to you Monday. So everything will be mail. I'm doing a big mail out. I got to do all kinds of shit. Yeah.
It's gonna be a fast turnaround. I'm getting ready to do. Oh man, when I get back to my place in Arkansas, I've got a shipment of Gemini mailers waiting for me there. They arrived today, and we've got I've got 1,000 bags of backers coming.
What are you mailing out? You're
I know you're
doing distribution a little bit, right?
Yes, exactly. So we're getting ready to do the distribution for The Embrace and Red
cool.
Eyes number 2. So those books are coming, and I want to be prepared in advance. And we've also got coming in this week for the first 5 clients we signed up, and they're signed up, they're taken care of. We're doing free. We're putting the Gemini mailer will go in a bag. A printed bag that's going to have the cover of the book printed on the bag.
Oh, wow.
And then the label will go on the backside. So if, it's a sealed plastic bag, if they throw it on your doorstep, your Gemini mailer is not getting soaked in the rain. It'll be covered in plastic. And then if people see that, we get a lot of unboxings and unbagging videos, and future clients are like, can I get that? I'm like, yes, you can. Here's what it costs. And it'll be literally what it costs. Not, I do this for an extra fee. My fee is the same whether I'm putting it in a bag or putting it in a Gemini mailer.
The Embrace, isn't that produced in the States? Like
that one is being produced in the States, even though the artist is in Australia, the writer's in the States. But they wanted to use our service because I set it up for international. You pegged that exactly right. I mean, we worked, our first international client was Kimasabi, who's doing the company men. And that's because I want to say that he sold as many as he did because we got the shipping knocked down to $10 to the United States from Australia rather than, 30 or 25. So that one's shipping in December. So I didn't get those bags printed up just yet.
You got the shipping from the United States to Australia knocked down to $10?
No. Other way around.
Oh,
from Australia to the United States.
Yeah.
Now I can do it the other way, and I for a long time I was like, well, I really can't control that. I have to make some calls and some connections, but I can get it from the States to the UK for I want to say $15. Last I checked.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. For international shipping. No, that's not terrible. But there are pieces that have to be in place that I don't have in place with that yet. So,
I recently started using a pirate ship instead of using stamps.com.
Yeah, because I don't have to pay a monthly fee to pirate ship.
It's so much easier to use pirate ship too. Like for all of my campaigns, I use stamps.com, and then recently I was like it wasn't this order, it was a couple of orders back. I was like, everybody's talking about pirate ship. Let me give it a second look, And I'm an idiot for not using it.
I don't know how to make money.
Well, pirate ship, here's what I'm thinking, right? I think pirate ship and stamps both get a kickback from whatever service they're using, right? Like the US Post Office or UPS, because stamps recently added UPS to their roster. And what I'm thinking is that they get a kickback, but stamps was like, I think we need a little bit more money. So so they started charging a monthly fee. Now their software, stamps is so much more complicated and it glitches so many more. Like, here's the thing, like Candace is on stream right now. I sent some artwork out to Candace, and I added insurance on stamps, right?
Right.
And when I printed out the label, stamps took off the insurance, and and I already mailed it out, and I was like, oh fuck, because if anything happens to that artwork, I can't claim insurance on it. Like it's gotta, and that wasn't the first time. Like Stamps is famous for doing that over and over and over again, but I'm good at rechecking it before I go ahead and print it out. But this time, even though I rechecked it, they still dropped it from the order, right?
Yeah. Well, did you send it media or priority?
I said you can't do out of the country. It's got to be priority. It can't be media. You know?
At the very least, your work is worth more than that. But at the very least, priority with USPS comes with automatically $50 insurance.
No, I know that, but I needed to add more insurance. You know, and that's when I was. And usually I put. I mean, if I'm adding insurance, it's usually around $200 or $300. You know, something like that. And and then I was like, fuck this. I was like, I can't. What if it was something really expensive, like $800 or something like that? And then now, so I tried pirate ship, and I haven't run into any glitches of yet. And
I've been happy.
The platform and the software is so much. It's so much easier. It's more user friendly, and like there's no reason to use stamps. There's none whatsoever. Like after using pirate ship, I don't. And then that's another thing too. Like stamps makes it so much more complicated to do international shipping. Like with pirate ship, it's super, super easy. And like when I put an address in, all I have to put is the street name and the address. And it's like, it'll automatically give you options, of, like the town, the zip code, all this kind of crap. Where stamps, it was like, well, this isn't working. Figure it out.
This one's broke. Because I know that I haven't had the chance to use it this way yet because we haven't done a mass mailing. But when you send the spreadsheet up, I'm waiting to see, when I give you 200 addresses, are you going to stop and say, okay, here's 200 options because you might want to pick this one or that one? Probably. But
that's another thing too. Like that's another way where stamps used to glitch. I haven't, just like you, I haven't done a mass mail out. But when I tried to do it through stamps and I tried to upload the CVS file, was it CVS or CVC?
It's a CVS. Yeah.
CVS?
Comma. I don't know.
CSV file. It wouldn't accept it. Like it just wouldn't accept it. It was glitching again. And I was like, okay, well, fuck it. So I had to manually put in each address as I went along. And I was like, and it was just a big pain in the ass, I mean, that's when you start developing shortcuts. You're like, like a book, 2 books is like 13 ounces. So like if you put 2 books in there, it's 13 ounces or whatever. But I mean, that was a big pain in the ass. Now with pirate ship, I really can't say like pirate ship's any better because I haven't tried that yet. But I know
somebody who has.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, because we had a client that used part of our service. Now we didn't distribute their books, but they sent us their Indiegogo and their Kickstarter and their online sales. So I had 3 different spreadsheets that were sent from me, and I'm an IT guy, Preston. So I've had 30 years in databases. So I took all of them, I ran them through SQL Server. I made them consistent, which was a real trick because now that they've got the add-ons going, Indiegogo, when you order a tier, you get that row with the ID and your name and address, and here are the things you bought: item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5.
Yeah.
Well, if you put an add-on on there, they make a second record, same order number, same address, $0 cost.
Yeah.
And they because they rolled it up, and then next item, I'm like, well, if I were doing a label for each row here, I'd be screwed.
No, that's another thing with Indiegogo too. Like with add-ons, I noticed when I was putting like the mail-outs together, like sometimes the the add-ons weren't coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like like when I had to do it manually, and I was like, why isn't the add-on coming up? And then I realized I was like, because there's no shipping cost on an add-on. Yep. And because there's no shipping cost, it doesn't recognize that it's something that needs to be shipped out. So it doesn't come up when you put somebody's name in or something like that. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, they rolled the shipping cost up into the main shipping, but it's on its own row. So, my code takes everything and says, okay, I take everything that's on a tier. I don't care what the tier is anymore. When I process it, I don't look at what the tier is. I look at the items, and I take that horizontal stack and I turn it into a vertical stack. So it's like name, item, name, item, name, item, so that the main tier gets listed down and then the add-ons get listed under it. And I'm like, okay, now take everything and re-horizontalize it. So I get, all the items on one line and the shipping costs. And now I've got, here's what I print out. And we did that and then turned that into printing a mail merge with a pack list. So it's like, here's your name and address. Thank you for buying such and such book. Here's what's in your box, item. And we put packing list numbers on them. And we gave them group numbers. So it's like everything that's got all of these things was group A. Everything that's got all of these things is group B. And then we just sent it to the client and said, okay, here's your packing list and here's your spreadsheet. And they sent the spreadsheet up through Pirate Ship and printed out labels. And I know they work because I got my book. And I'll go ahead and say it. It was Florida Man. I was working with Chris Crowley on that. So they used Pirate Ship for that. And they sent a huge spreadsheet of like 800 addresses through it. So it seems to work.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I'm definitely going to use Pirate Ship for any future like shipping I got to do. And also one other thing too. Anybody who's running a campaign, if you're doing add-ons, make sure you add some type of shipping for international. Because that will bite you straight in the ass if you don't do that.
You should add shipping for everything, domestic and international, because even if it's like a postcard,
international, it's a game of ounces. Like if you go up 2 ounces, you just upped your shipping cost $10. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and that's and when you're coming up with your shipping costs too. By the way, guys. Not that I'm giving away trade secrets or proprietary information, but realize that a Gemini mailer and a bag and a board and a shipping label on it is already 5.2 ounces.
Yeah.
So, if you're just saying, well, here's my book and it's like, it's 8.5 ounces or it's 10 ounces because it's 130 pages. That's what I'm going to put in there. Oh, look, 10 ounces comes under the 1 pound mark. Here I go.
I think
then you
minimum
it up and you've crossed the border of a new tier in shipping costs. And
minimum, you want to put down at least 10 to 12 ounces. Just for a book, Gemini mailer, and whatever. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I mean, if there's a way to eliminate the Gemini mailer, and just do like a cardboard box, like thinner cardboard box or some shit like that. I've gotten like comics mailed to me that way with double backboards, in a cardboard envelope, and they seem to be okay. But then again, like I've sent artwork out to Australia, and it looked like they drowned it.
Yeah. So, here's the thing: the Gemini mailer, as thick as it is and as fun as it is to put together, if you're a master at origami, it deters the postman from trying his level best to curl it up to fit it in your mailbox.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's one thing I have to say too is that we've ordered screen protectors for like iPads and shit like that, and they literally twisted it up and threw it in the mailbox. And I'm like, what the fuck? We're like, no, they didn't. We pull it out and it's just all cracked up and. Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
It's like if you put do not bend or on something, that's a challenge. Like,
yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah? I can bend anything.
We'll see about that. Yeah, I mean, we've seen, we got some orders are coming in for like U-line boxes. So instead of a Gemini mailer, it's got the closed top, and then you've seen it. It's got little flaps that tucks into it, and then you tape it closed because it. You can get artwork printed on the box too. It's just like
really?
Like the frog boxes.
Oh, cool!
We're going to ship. We're going to ship George Peter Gatzis's books out from Canada to the U.S. and we're going to be putting them into because they're like coffee table size. I'm like, there's not a media mailer or a Gemini mailer that fits this, so I had to find the U printing boxes that. And the nice thing about U printing is that you don't have to look for a box that almost fits it. You give it the dimensions and they cut the box.
Really? Holy shit.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, I need a box that's 3 3/4 inches by 19 inches by 2 inches. And like, here it is. We'll laser it right out and you fold it up.
I'm definitely going to have to talk to you about this U printing thing, like after we get offline or like in an email or something like that, because that sounds fucking amazing. Like, are they any more expensive than a Gemini mailer? Or are they,
yes,
they are.
They are more
Slightly,
expensive.
or way more expensive?
Well, it depends on how big the box is. I mean, it's going to be, you know, how much cardboard are you using? But the thing about printing is that, like, they'll send you the layout of the box, and you're like, they'll say, do you want it white or do you want it brown? And oh, by the way, white means we're printing it white, which also means that you have a third option, which is, do you want to put artwork on it that you know, when you fold it up, looks like something. And that's how you're getting things like, you know, the Cyberfrog boxes and stuff like that. I'm
gonna have to check that out. Like, that sounds fucking amazing. You know, like I really dig that. Like, I'm planning on putting an art book out. I was gonna do it this year, but I'm kind of scared to put anything out like towards the middle or the end of the year. You know, and but the way the art book's going to be oversized. Like, it's not going to be a comic size. You know, it's going to be oversized, and it's going to come with a custom slipcase. You know,
cool.
And it's going to be soft cover. But I was thinking about like doing something like that, like doing some kind of a you know, special, you know, mail-in thing or something like that to go ahead and get it out there. Because I see all these other people that are doing these. Look, straight the fuck up. I don't care about extras. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people out there, dude, they care about it. They want extras. They want the print. I like stickers, you know, and I like patches. But if that wasn't there and you just added 10 pages or 2 pages, I'd be cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I just want a really good book. And to be honest, there's a couple of books out there that did come with a lot of extras that I honestly don't know what to do with, but as a collector, now you fucked with my my OCD, and now I don't know how to store all that together, because now I don't know, like, I don't want it to get lost, you know, and I don't want it to I can't put it in a long box because the print doesn't fit with the long box, you know, with the book in the long box, you know, and that's pretty fucking irritating.
Yeah.
Like
the prints are 11 by 17. You're like, that sticks out the top.
Exactly. Like, it won't even fit in a long, and you don't want to roll it up. I mean, like, Only Death Can Save Us, right? Great book, phenomenal. Brought me back to the Kirby Buscema days, you know, and I was like, dude, this is so badass, right? But he put a print in there and a bunch of other shit, you know, and I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, it's like, because now I got Only Death Can Save Us, but now I can't put it in a long box with the rest of my shit, because now I can't store the print with the book. You know? And then there was
I have no idea what Mr. Yanafui is referring to. He says, "Can I call you P. Asevedo? When I say your name, I feel like I'm saying Adolf." I don't know if there's another Preston out there that he's not wanting to say the name, or what the deal is.
Either way, call me Nicky the Pipe. It's fine. Yeah. But they had and then there was Undead Border, which is a book that slid right under everybody, even my radar.
I haven't heard of it.
Right? It's by 656 Studios, the same guys that are doing, and that book was so good, like really, really, really good. I sent Brian my extra copy, but it came with a ton of extras. And the one thing I did like about that book is that it came with an ash can, right? And this is a true ash can with character sketches and shit like that, you know, and it's even the size of an ash can.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, I really like, I like the ash can, and I appreciate that. But the rest of that shit, like the bookmarks, the trading cards, I could care less about trading cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, trading cards.
Here's the thing. The trading cards aren't trading cards. It's a card with your character on it. And that's it. And even if you do a whole set of them, and I've said before, y'all are doing trading cards wrong. Yeah. You want to do trading cards. The whole point of trading cards is the chase. So what you do is and I brought your name up on this too, by the way. I've said, look, you go get 8 other people who are going to be doing campaigns this same year with good books and good reputation.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And you have Preston Asevedo draw you and paint you a 3x3 grid of all those characters that's going to get cut. And you're going to
you're talking about the puzzle cards, is what you're talking about, where they all fit together. Yeah.
Just like the Marvel Fleers did, the X-Men Fleer cards did in the 90s. And you put your card and your card only in your campaign.
Yeah. I think the only person that I know that did trading cards like pretty close to the way trading cards were supposed to be, or actually they did trading cards the way they're supposed to, was Phil with the Lost Pages. Like they came in a trading card, like plastic, slip cases and all that kind of shit. And
Yeah.
I really like that. But like, yeah, I mean, Undead Border, Only Death Can Save Us, Monster MD, all these books were phenomenal. And they came with a ton of extras. You know what, dude? The books were so good. Keep all that money you just spent on the extras and put that in your pocket, because I want to see it. I want to see a book 2. I want you to make a profit so that we can see book 2. There's nothing wrong with a creator making a profit.
I don't even like patches. I've got nothing to do with patches. But now I've got to go out and buy a jacket because
I know. Now I got to get a jean jacket so I can put Monster MD right there.
And I'm like, I don't even know how to put a patch. Is it sticky on the back? Do I lick it? I mean,
I don't know. Like, I remember, like, I know you can iron them on, but I think you also have to have them sewn. And I'm a metalhead, right? So when I was growing up, we had the back patches, with like Slayer and all this kind of shit on our back, yeah, like that's something. Like do a Doc Salem like back patch for people who wear jean jackets.
I've got to put it on something, even if I just get a hat.
Yeah.
But then I'll have to get another hat if I get another patch. Patches are Shay the Reds thing. I'm a big sticker person, but I've got to get away from that because my laptop case is only so big and I've run out of space.
You see, that's another thing too, is here's like Undead Border, they sent a sticker out that was perfect for your car, right? It's basically like a vinyl sticker you put on your car. But like most of the stickers that these guys sent out, like I don't have any place to put them.
Yeah.
I like them, I really do. But after I put them on something, I feel like I just, maybe I shouldn't have did that.
I've got fortunately a second monitor, and I'm putting them on the back of my monitor now. But
I started putting it on my computer and my printer, but then I was like, I might sell the printer. It might break, and then I'm not getting it fixed. I'm just gonna buy another one or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to do with all of that. Like.
Well, the cool thing about add-ons being a thing now, and I know they've been a thing for a while, but I think they're getting a little bit better at it, is I think we're going to start seeing more streamlined campaigns. I think you're going to say, here's my campaign, here's a featured tier, and then basically here's the book, and that's it. And then if you want anything else, guess what? It's going to be a la carte when you go to the add-on page. You can get 7 stickers, you can get 2 prints.
I think the problem with stickers though is that I think they have to order them in a bundle, like because there's no like minimum on stickers. Well, there is a minimum on stickers. Like I think you got to get like 100 or 500 or something like that.
Yeah, but they're going to sell them, and if they don't sell them, they're going to give them away at conventions, and it's going to be promotional material.
Yeah, that's true too. Like I don't know. Like I said, I'm a collector. I just want a really good book. And you know what? If you sign it, that's even better. But I know people who don't like their stuff like marked on too. Like they don't want you to sign it or anything like that. Yeah.
Make it an option. I always like them signed.
Now,
I remember Mindy Newell was doing Catwoman.
Candace can verify this. Like whenever I send out original art, you're usually going to get 3 or 4 prints within there too. Like I'll stick like whatever I have in stock over here. Like I used to do cons, so I used to sell prints at cons of my paintings and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and sign those and go ahead and stick those with the art when I send them off.
That's very cool. Candace says she's a card collector too, and see that's who I would appeal to with that trading card idea, because I'm like, if you get if you were to do a 9 sheet and 9 different people were doing them, well, I'm like, okay, I just bought Monster MD and it's got this trading card, and I can tell that something's missing around the edges of it here. And I got Doc Salem and it's got a trading card in it. Oh, holy shit! There's 7 other cards that it's going to make a picture of what campaigns have those in them, and now I'm going to back 7 campaigns that I didn't know anything about before.
You know what? You got me thinking. Actually, like if I do a trading card, it's not really going to be a trade. It'll be a stat card. Where you have Doc Salem on the front and you have the stats on the back. And that way, if we do eventually do a game, like you already have the starting card right there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm on the ground floor here of something that's just going to get bigger. It's a bunch of guys who were told to go out and make comic books if they didn't like what was out there, and they did. And now I think we're going to start seeing the action figures. We're going to start seeing the games.
Well, isn't that what happened with heavy metal? Like they said, you can't work in comics because your style doesn't match like Kirby or and Richard Corbin. Like heavy metal's like, no, Richard, come over here and we'll print whatever you got.
Yeah, pretty
we'll
much.
print Den. We don't care about penises. Come over here and we'll print it. Yeah,
that was that's what crowdfunding comics is. It's the new heavy metal with less rules, fewer rules.
No, right? Yeah, there's no comics code here, and I think that's another thing too. Like, I talked to Arthur Sweetum, and Arthur Sweetum, I was like, why did you go to heavy metal instead of doing mainstream comics? And he said, because I was like, dude, you're so good. Like those old heavy metal books when he did all these painted stories, like fully painted stories.
Yeah, like
his watercolor work was top notch. Like nobody can touch that. And he said, because mainstream comics wouldn't let me paint, they said the printing process at the time was on newsprint and they couldn't reproduce like painted work. And I was like, oh, and he said, but heavy metal said, come over here, and we'll print whatever you give it to us. So he was like, oh, there's no rules. Like I can do boobies. And I was like, yeah. They're like, if you don't do boobies, we won't hire you.
we know what sells.
Yeah.
You give it to us however you want to make them, but.
And let me ask you a question, like showing nudity and sex and stuff like that, is that really for adolescents? Like they claim it is? Like what the current heavy metal gods are saying? Well, the current runners of heavy metal are saying?
They're saying it's like not for adolescents, but for developmentally
because where I come from,
development. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's adult content. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be mature in your way of consuming that type of content.
And now they think they're appealing to Beavis and Butthead. Boobies.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, dude. Like it's fucking complete. It's asinine, is what it is.
I have no idea when the polls switched again, but when I was a kid, it was the religious conservatives that were like, hey, no boobies, hey, no swear words, hey, no drinking on Sundays, and now it's like it's the far left. It's like you're sexualizing women, no boobies, like. Weren't you the guys that were like fighting for freedom?
Yeah, I know, right?
Speech and press and
what it seems like too is that since these guys like totally ruined any chance they had at working at DC Comics because they attacked Jay Lee, and Jim Lee's their friends, so he was like, anybody who's going to attack Jay, you could just skip on by because you're not working here. I think those guys went to Dynamite and they went to they went to heavy metal and they went to all these other places. That
one of them went to IDW.
Yeah, that IDW, from what I understand, like IDW has always been infested with those people. Especially with Transformers, dude. Like, there's something I didn't know, but there's a transgender Transformer. Like, I was like, is that even possible? I was like, I didn't know they had sexes in Transformers.
I turn into a Ferrari, but I identify as a Porsche.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. I was like, that's nuts, right? I mean, like, I get representation to a certain extent, but that's crazy. And somebody needs to tell them, like, you can't have a transgender toaster. That's impossible. Like, that just doesn't work, I just don't get it. Like, it's trying to decipher these stupid people, and it's just I don't know. I don't know.
Because there are no races of Transformers; they are robots.
Exactly.
So you can't really, represent. How do you increase representation in Transformers? Now, the human characters, that's a different story.
Absolutely.
If the Transformers have been running around with a bunch of white kids, for the last 60 issues, maybe do something about that. Introduce somebody else to the crew. But
there's nothing wrong with showing like different sexualities and stuff like that in comics. You know what I'm saying? In fact, heavy metal used to show like transgender people back in the day. Early 2000 AD, like those Slane comics. They had characters in there like gods that were of both sexes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I'm like, so honestly, I think they're just crying about shit just to cry about it. Just
it gets attention.
That's what it is. And I don't even talk about it on my channel anymore. Like I refuse to like get into any type of political bullshit because I feel like I'm playing right into their hands. You know what I'm saying? Like
You're giving them attention.
Exactly. And I don't want to do it. Like I'd rather, I know it's boring for you to watch me do a 6-gun gorilla page, but that's the type of stuff you're going to see like on there now, or me doing like a painted cover or something like that. And I'll have people on there to entertain you while we're doing it. But you know, like, that's just the stuff you're going to see. Like, I'm not interested in talking about I'm just burned out on political shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and gender shit and all this other crap. I just don't
let them have it
anymore. Yeah.
Let them have it all.
Yeah.
And let them burn down their industry with it, because
I know a lot of channels get a lot of publicity from that. But to be honest, I'm like, one of the shows I want to do too is just like me and you getting on a show and showing what kind of comics we have in our collection, because I like that, you know, like I'm totally cool with that. Yeah, exactly. And then we trade.
Yeah, I'll go digging. There's like 30 boxes over there of long.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't have 30 boxes. Well, do I? Fuck, I don't know. No, I don't think I have 30 boxes, but I got some quality stuff, you know, and like my Kirby collection. I love to show off my Kirby collection. I just love doing that kind of stuff. Like I'm a collector. I'm a comic collector, and any comic collector wants to flex on their collection, you know.
Preston Art Streams and Brian's Rubbermaid digging is fine by me, says Carrie that way. I've got Rubbermaids. I used to dig through the Rubbermaids too when I was on shows to bring out like my here, let's do it.
That's exactly what Brian does. Like I'll mention something and Brian's like, I got that. Pull it out, whether it's a toy or whatever. Exactly. And you know what? That shit is fucking fun, dude. Like getting on there and just talking comics and showing off stuff. You got to come on the stream and come hang out, and we'll pull some indie comics, dude.
You tell me when to show up and I'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is my I like seeing people draw things they don't normally draw. So, you know, when I went to a convention, and I'll be like, you know, the first convention I went to where I actually had money to get something, they're like, who do you want me to draw? I'm like, you've never done Batgirl. Do Batgirl. Because I liked Batgirl.
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. I like that. Like doing a stream where you just call out a character, and, you know, we have a couple of artists on there that'll do it. I think
just, you know, especially if, you know, I want to see how you would draw this character. So, and suddenly it became a thing.
Who did that?
I have no idea who did this. They did it at Pittsburgh.
Was it a known artist or was it an unknown?
There is the signature. If anyone that can never figure that one out.
Guys, if you sign your work, make sure people can read it. Like that's terrible.
It's yeah. I mean, he's got a stylized signature, but I can't.
It looks like he just made a mark. That's beautiful work, though. I mean, I wish I knew who did it. Yeah, that's nice too. I dig that. Yeah.
This one, I want to say this one's Jim Fay.
Oh, sweet, Elvira. That's cool too. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of artists in Artist Alley that'll knock shit. That kind of looks like my buddy Derek Donovan's work. Derek's a badass artist. He's awesome.
This one's just last name of Hastings, and he likes to draw the boobies.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. That's like a Tim Vigil type of style.
I just demonetized the entire stream right there.
Nah, you're good. You missed the stream where we did nothing but sex toys.
Oh. Well, it's marked out for children. And
they took it off. They took it off for like the next day, and I argued with them, and they put it back up because I was like, no. I was like, all this is on YouTube, so don't fucking.
Yeah. Well, they cut me down on a live stream when I was interviewing Dan Fan over her book Orgasm Girl. Yeah. And I was like, and it was like, that's just her power. There was like no pictures of anything happening. It was just the discussion, and it was like, I noticed like the last 10 minutes we were like off of YouTube. Suddenly we're just on Facebook, and I said, look, if I put the word orgasm into YouTube, here's what I get back. We were nowhere near any of that.
Yeah. So, no. They have stuff like that on YouTube too. Yeah, that's badass.
This is
they have,
an artist
and
named
it's listed as educational, you know. And I'm like, what? I'm like, like waxing, like, and all that kind of stuff. I was like,
Yeah, like
dude,
nobody knew how to do this until we
yeah, I
put
know,
it on
right?
YouTube.
And I'm like, holy shit, dude. I was like, people are just watching this on YouTube. Like, I didn't have to put my age in or anything like that. Just there, I'm like, this is crazy.
Boom. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I could do the whole Rubbermaid digging as long as I'm here. When I'm back in Arkansas, it's like I have none of my stuff with me. This is all still here in my St. Louis home. I come back every 2 weeks. So if I ever have a Saturday night stream, I'm here with the comics and with the boxed up statues and all my original art.
Do you own a comic shop, or is it?
No, God, no. Would have loved to, but
You just have two houses, one in Arkansas and one in St. Louis.
I don't have a house. You see, if I had two houses, this stuff would be in Arkansas. I'm renting a room in Arkansas because my day job is down in Arkansas, and I'm technically divorced, and I lost my job to COVID in November last year, which meant I wasn't going to find anything in December because nobody's hiring, and January they were just firing up, so they were talking, and it took till February 1st to get something. It happened to be in Arkansas, and I'm like, I got nothing holding me anywhere. I'm going to Arkansas.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's certain times of the year, when I used to work for people, like there were certain times of the year when you knew you couldn't quit your job. And unfortunately, December is one of those times. December, and everybody's quitting their jobs in January and February because they're getting their taxes in, and they're like, time to go looking.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a contract job where they canceled the contract early because everybody was working from home and they couldn't afford to re-up the contract. I'm like, okay, I'm back here with my thumb out in the wind again.
That sucks.
But yeah, I'd love to have all my stuff in Arkansas with me because it's the strangest thing we'd have. It was like Brian does with your stream. You talk about something and it's like without leaving the chair, just like stretching, you're like, yeah, it's right here. It's right here. My bookshelf used to be filled with.
It's like it was planned. Yeah, exactly. No. On the stream, Brian usually has the big box in front of him, just digging through shit, and like, here it is. And I tell Brian, I tell everybody what I got is I got my collection back here, but any really expensive issues I have in a special drawer, a set of drawers over here, and that's my if there's a fire, that's my grab that and run drawer.
I've probably done the worst thing with my most expensive issues because I didn't slab them, but they are framed. I took them to a frame shop, and I don't even know if they're my most expensive issues, but they are my most milestone issues. So I've got 4 comic books. I've got Green Lantern number 40, the Alan Scott Hal Jordan Silver Age duel.
Which sweet! That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the first mention of the Crisis. That's the first time they ever mentioned, hey, the guy looked back in time, saw the hand. Blah, blah, blah. Multiverse was born. I've got that behind museum glass, behind a green matting. And, I've got a label underneath that says Green Lantern number 40, first mention of Crisis. So I've got that in an actual frame. And then next to that, I've got with a red matting, I want to say Flash number 169, the first appearance of the Reverse Flash. And then the last 2 are in a double frame side by side with a special cut matting to show them both. I've got the first Golden Age appearance of Batgirl, the blonde Betty Kane one.
Oh, wow.
And the first Silver Age appearance of Barbara Gordon, the $1 million debut of Batgirl, side by side. So I can't get them out because they are literally matted in there and the thing is sealed from behind and everything. It's not like you can slip them out.
I have the third appearance of Hal Jordan, and I have Green Lantern 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Ooh.
And also the first appearance of which Green Lantern was it? It was the one that was a prick. Guy Gardner. Gardner. Yeah, I got the first appearance of Guy Gardner. And from what I heard, like this new Green Lantern series they're supposed to have on HBO is supposed to feature Guy Gardner. So, but I always thought Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan were. I like Guy Gardner a little bit more than Hal Jordan, because he was a prick.
Yeah.
But I was always a Hal Jordan fan ever since I was like little bitty. I thought he was the baddest motherfucker ever.
I never figured out why they put the Green Lanterns in the sectors. Because there's 3,600 sectors. You are the Green Lantern of 2416. So I'm thinking, well, there's not 3,600 Green Lanterns because our sector alone has 5 of them.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's another thing too.
We live in a real crime-ridden sector.
I know that's crazy. Like that was, I'm. From what I remember, Green Lantern was one guy, right? Like in the beginning, like
in the beginning, it was one guy. He was the cop for our sector. He walked our beat.
And then, at what point did the Green Lantern Corp come out? Like, was that in the Green Lantern regular series, or was it?
It was in the Green Lantern regular series, but it was like in the 3rd or 4th issue that he got the ring, and then just did the thing. But
within the 3rd issue was the first appearance of that like bird fish looking guy, the orange guy,
Tomar Ray.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
One.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be the one then where he found out, I work for somebody, and the Guardians called him to Oa, and he found out there's a whole corps of these guys. But yeah, I used to love the corps, Tomar Ray and Chip and Kilowog.
I did too, but I got to tell you, like I like the like while Ethan was working on the Green Lantern regular series, like that was good.
Yeah.
But the Corp was even better. You know what I'm saying? Like the Corp series was better. Like the storylines they had in there, and the Dark Corp where they had like almost like the Espionage Corp.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it got deep, dude. And
you figure there's an internal
really
affairs division too.
Yeah, and it was I forget the guy's last name was Gleason that did the artwork for it. I can't remember his first name,
right.
but
I can't either. It's not Keith Gleason. That's the one that coming to mind now. But that
he was really, really good, like really good. And I don't know whatever happened to him, but that series was the best. Like I don't know, like to me that was like the golden age of Green Lantern right there. Is when it was it couldn't get any better than it was when Ethan was doing his thing, and then the Corp thing was going on at the same time.
Yeah, that was Patrick Gleason.
Yeah. And like those 2 books, like those 2 series, I don't think it can get any better than that. Like I think that was the pinnacle of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
What they tried later with Liam Sharp, it just wouldn't work.
That.
It just wasn't good enough.
The tales of the Green Lantern Corps were always, I loved those too. Even back before they did the whole, series that you're talking about there, because anything could happen. You had so many characters to choose from. And Alan Moore wrote 2 of the best ones, in my opinion. Mogo Doesn't Socialize. Where you get the
I didn't read that. I like Alan Moore's writing. Like Alan Moore's I really dig his stuff.
Yeah, that was the first appearance of Mogo, the Green Lantern. And it was all this this hitman who's like, he's tracking Mogo.
Yeah,
he's out to kill Mogo, and he lands on this planet. He's like, I've got a strong Green Lantern signature here. I know he's a Green Lantern killer.
I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that one. That one was
and
good.
He's like, he's mapping every place out that he's been, and he marks something.
He didn't realize he was on. He was on the Green Lantern. Yeah, I remember that one. That was really good.
Loses his shit and takes off.
I still got that. I think I still got that series somewhere in here. Like I gotta look for it. Like that shit was really good. Like that was out of all the modern comics I have, that was the one that I didn't want to get rid of because I really, really liked it. But the rest of them, I think I either gave away because they weren't really that great. Like I just like, I mean, the only other book that I collected that I still collect is Thor. But I stopped. There's a huge period where I just quit because it got so convoluted and it got so woke. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't Thor anymore. Like when they started bringing in like, they had a conversation between Odin and Thor. I mean, no, Odin and Gia, and he was like, it was prophecy that we would have a son called Thor. And she goes, prophecy isn't consent. And I'm like, what? I was like, what the fuck did I just read?
Oh my God.
That's when I said, I can't do this. I'm out.
I didn't want to have a child named Thor.
I was like, what?
That's stupid. The other Alan Moore story I was thinking of, the one where Kat Matui goes to a planet with no sun. There's like no light, and therefore all the creatures are blind. And she's like, I'm here to recruit you to the blankety blankety corps. He's like, what? What? I don't understand these words you're saying, because he had no language, no linguistic
remember
concept.
That story too. I think I read both of those, because that one was really good too. And
yeah, the F sharp bell he ended up being called.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and it was that was a really good story too. Yeah,
Alan Moore. Those are collected in the Alan Moore DC stories. So,
God, he had such a good run. The problem is when you do work for corporations like that, they pervert your work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like that. I think that was the biggest thing with Kirby. Like, I love everything Kirby. But the problem is that you can't keep collecting all his stuff and all those IPs, because they're corporate characters at that point. Like, the corporation's going to do whatever they can to go and milk those characters for everything they have. Yeah, and that's why I think like the Thor series, the first 100 issues of Thor, from 83 to 200 or something like that, were like the best. Until Walter Simon took over. Yeah. But
well,
you got some issues?
A few. Well, man, we've been on here for 2 hours now. So I want to tell everybody, link to Nine Devils right below. You can also get Rockabilly Road Trip. So it's more than just Nine Devils.
Last chance.
Help Preston clean house. Get rid of these back issues here, so you can get on to the next project. The next project that's going to be your project is going to be what? I
still got to write Doc Salem, so I'm probably going to start Non-Devils, the Brian Criscow Preston Asevedo version, and that's gonna be a long one. Like, that first issue is going to be like 80 something pages. So. And it's most definitely going to leave you on a cliffhanger, because there's so much story to tell with that. I can't guarantee I'm going to do the second one, but I will have somebody doing it. If I'm not available. But yeah, there's going to be multiple chapters to Non-Devils. I want to try to get the that
would make sense. Yeah, there's 9 of them.
But it's going to be big issues. I don't want small ones. Like, it's going to be something insanely good. Yeah.
At least you went with a reasonable number, 9 devils, and instead of trying to get, let's really make it scary. 666 devils, because then you would really. That's crazy.
That'll never happen. Yeah. But
it sounds so metal.
Yeah, it's going to be big issues, but I want to give everybody something worth reading.
Yeah.
And I want it to be epic. And I don't think you can do something epic and have it go on forever. You just can't. Like, that's crazy.
Cerebus, not everybody can do a Cerebus.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Cerebus was good, but there was also a bunch of dead points in there too.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't all like fucking roses, there was points in there where it died out, and then it came back and it died out. But then you got the Tick, and the Tick only did 12 issues, 12 regular sized issues, and that's still being reprinted.
Yeah, they're immortal.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I want to do something reasonable, but I want it to be like the best it can possibly be. So there's, so Non-Devils is going to be non-chapters, and it's going to be epic. So let's do that.
All right. Well, we'll look for that. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the show again when you're launching that. Harrowenberg, our wrench, is in the chat. He's giving people the links to your projects.
Sweet.
Including the Doc Salem Monster Hunter. Looks like number 2, but I don't think that's quite right yet, because that's not created yet. And follow Preston on Twitter at Nicky the Pipe. So be sure to do that. Oops. Clicking on things I didn't want to click on. Anyway, Preston, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. It's been a lot of good conversation. I said come back when you launch. Come back before that. We'll talk comics. We'll just talk art. We'll dig through boxes with you and Brian. And
we got to do that. Yeah. That's the shit. I want to do a whole show on indie comics and just do old Comico first, all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I've some books.
I've got a stack of those. I've been picking up some Elementals and some Southern Knights.
Oh, absolutely. We got to hit Badger, Nexus, Dark, Dreadstar. You know,
and they're all coming back because all those creators have been shunned by the mainstream. Now they can't get the work there, so they took their IPs and they're crowdfunding it. And
absolutely. In fact, I'm still waiting on my new Dreadstar to come in, and it's going to send a personal message to Jim Starlin and ask where that motherfucker's at.
I got to get him on the show sometime. That'd be a fun conversation. I really want to get Jim Steranko on because I know he's on Twitter every now and then. But
I know somebody who's friends with him. I'll have to talk to him and see if Steranko might be interested in doing something like that. From what I understand, Steranko never had a huge body of work. Like, he's one of those creators that came in, did like 20 to 40 issues and was
made his mark.
A rock star after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Made his mark and left. Live fast, love hard, and die, leave a beautiful corpse.
Absolutely.
That's what he did with comics. All right. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you having been here. We don't have a show without you. And as always, we just hope that while you were here,